Hi everybody, Paul Cameron here from SpeedUpMyJobSearch.com with a clip from our monthly jobs-driven networking group, which meets every third Thursday. Let's take a look. We're going to talk about specific scripts and templates and the power of words, because I don't know if we pay enough attention to how much impact every individual word has on the feelings that other people have from the conversations we have with them, if that makes sense. I could add one word into a very casual conversation, and that's going to change the tone of the rest of my day, right? If, for example, maybe my wife and I are out having lunch at an outdoor restaurant. Melanie walks by, and, my inclination is going to be to stand up and say, hey, Melanie, it's good to see you. I'd love to introduce you to my wife, Angie. Angie, this is Melanie. All right, now if I do that, great. Maybe Angie and Melanie become friends. Maybe not. Who knows? It's just a nice introduction. But if I add one word to that introduction, it changes the outcome of my day. Right? If I say, oh, Melanie, it's good to see you. I'd love to introduce you to my beautiful wife, Angie. Angie, this is my good friend, Melanie. All right, now that one word that I've added in there will highly increase the probability of me successfully negotiating a key lime pie at the end of that meal, right? Or something along those lines, where I'm going to have a nice outcome that afternoon. Like, what about some standard words that they don't necessarily sound negative as you say them. You don't mean them negative as you say them, but maybe they have a different connotation to them. Like, for example, for those of you who are parents out there, and if you've ever had teenagers in the house, let's say hypothetically you had to go out of the house for the day, and there are some things around the house that you're going to need to have done, that this teenager needs to do, but they don't know what they need to do, and they need to find out. So they're going to ask, so mom or dad, what are you expecting me to have done, by the time you get home, right? What are they really asking with that question? It seems like a pretty straightforward, honest, good question. But what they really want to know is, what is the bare minimum that I have to do in order to not get in trouble when you get home, right? What do I have to get done? And here's where it gets challenging for job seekers from my perspective, because I see lots and lots of coaches out there who have written really good books, and they're really well-intentioned. And I would say most, if not all, of the books have a lot of these types of questions in there. In fact, I've got a pretty good library of job search books. So I grabbed 5 of them at random. And what they would suggest is an excellent question to ask during your interview is, this one says, what would your expectations of me be in my first 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year? This one says, what are the performance expectations of this position over the first 12 months? What will I need to do in the first 12 months for you to consider this to be a good hire? And if you've read any interview books out there, you've probably seen a similar question. What are you expecting me to have done by the time you get home so that I don't get fired? What are you expecting of me in this position over the first 3 months? Whereas you can get the exact same information from them by just changing a couple of words. Hey, what would I have the opportunity to work on in my first 3 months here? And there's another one that's very, very popular in all of these books. So one of those questions is to find out whether it's a newly created position or if it's a replacement position. All right. If you haven't heard of that before, basically that just means that if it's a newly created position, that means nobody's ever been in that role before. And if it's a replacement position, that means somebody was in that role and they left, or, for whatever reason, they were let go. They're no longer in that role. All 5 of these books recommend that you ask them why, if it's a replacement position. So there was somebody in this role. Why did that person leave? Again, sounds very logical. It's on very sound principles. But when you ask, why is the position open? Let's sit in the employer's chair for a second. The person who was in that role, the people join companies, leave managers, they left that person. So if you sit down with them, kind of like on a first date, could you imagine saying, so did you choose to leave your last relationship, or did the person break up with you? Oh, they broke up with you? Okay. Why'd they leave? What'd you do? Right? Who really? Right? Why did that person leave? What'd you do? Why didn't they like working for you? Is that question. Whereas, again, shifting the words to find out the same thing. Is this a brand new position for growth, or what's giving me the opportunity to be here? There's a different way to phrase it that keeps a positive spin of I'm here to help, not to judge you. The vote leader from these 4 possibilities was, what do I say if I follow up after a week for my interview and no one's called me yet? So I would do this via an email at first. And with this one, just hi, first name of this person. I hope you had a good week. This is just the quick note that I promised that I would send to follow up about the business analyst position, the sales position, whatever that role is that you're following up about. I'm planning my appointments for the next week and want to stay flexible for whichever days and times you feel would work best for you and the team if we were to proceed to the next step and meet again. I don't want to be presumptuous and assume that they are definitely going to move forward. But I also want to make it clear that I am scheduling my week next week with other appointments, and this one's the priority. So I want to try to stay flexible. Okay. After reviewing my notes with the insights that you shared with me about XYZ company and this position, I can see that this is the type of organization and role I was hoping to find for my next career move. I'm hopeful you felt it was a strong fit as well. Have there been any updates about my candidacy for this position? You do want to ask a direct question rather than, if there was any updates, then let me know. Well, nope, there wasn't, so I don't have to respond. Right? So we do want to ask a direct question. Are there any updates? Have there been any updates about my candidacy? Please feel welcome to reach out to me with questions. I hope to hear from you soon. In the environment that we are in right now, that is so, I don't know the right word, tumultuous would be a good one, where it's hope is a big deal right now. And when you can express, I have hope in this position, there's going to be a natural human instinct to want to respond. At the beginning there, and I skipped over this, this is the quick note I promised I would send. During your interview, let them know that you're going to follow up. And then you say, here's the note that I promised. Now we are reiterating the fact that I keep my promises.
Those are excellent,
Okay.
Paul. I think they take a lot of things into consideration. We older job seekers, there's my picture. I didn't know what was going on. We older job seekers have a lot more experience. We have a lot more wisdom that we've picked up over the years. There are intangible things that people that have wisdom like we use. We have a little bit more years of experience that goes a long way. And Paul, you are the most exemplary person in bringing those out that I have seen. I really, really appreciate it. I learn a lot by listening to you. Thank you, sir.
Wow. Awesome. That means a ton to me. The job father from Dallas. Awesome. Thank you so much, Foster. That's my
Very well.
that's my favorite nickname ever, by the way. Um,
Yeah, I'm not going to get rid of that one.
seriously. So awesome. Well, thanks. What if they just tell me to apply online? I use a thing called a rebuttal book, which in sales they call it a rebuttal book, but in here I call it a discussion response guide. But when you first call them, they could say a number of things. They could say, you know what, you just need to apply online, or you know what, just email your resume to me, or you know what, you need to call HR. And to each one of these, I've got multiple scripts. Okay, apply online. Hey, thanks. That's my next stop for sure. When I saw your profile, it looked like you might work closely with the person they hire for this role. And this position looked like an especially strong fit for me. So I wanted to reach out in case you had any insights about the position or how I can make sure my resume gets noticed by the right people. Does your position interact with this one? Well, one other thing I'm going to show you before we jump off this page, in case anybody's wondering what these eggs are, and this is just something I've built from myself from so much study of all these different personality books, but these are easy enough questions that you can answer about somebody while you're on the phone with them. All right, so did they engage you with small talk? All right, so if I'm talking to Foster, for example, I would bet, yes, he would engage me in some small talk. Are they speaking at a fast pace or a slow pace? I would say he's pretty natural, fast-paced conversation. And how much are they talking? And finally, do they seem more open about sharing their feelings or more guarded? I'm doing yours here, Foster.
Yeah.
But then this is going to pop up while I'm talking with Foster if he was the hiring manager. So influencer types, I've got strengths and weaknesses that I can see at a glance. Likes, approval, inclusion, not necessarily a big fan of routine. If you can match the energy level and connect projects to big picture strategy, that's going to go over well. This can help you to build rapport faster with people if you can learn how to do this on the fly, right? When you have a big network of people, that's where you go from the realm of being a replaceable job title to an irreplaceable resource. Because now you're that person who always knows how to get things done. You always happen to know someone who knows how to fix that issue. That's somebody we can't let go because we need to save a couple of bucks in a layoff. I hope that was helpful for you. And please check out the rest of our YouTube channel for more tips and strategies to help you with your job search. I'd love to meet you at the next one, so I hope you can make it. Thanks for watching.